Hi there.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right.
Good.
Hey, guys, I'm going to be home in a few minutes, so I'll be switching soon.
Okay. Switching what? I know.
Switching
Cell
t-shirts?
phone to computer.
Oh,
Okay. I'm finding my pencil.
Afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
hey, Andy. Let's see how many we have.
Andrew, this is Chris. Did you get my email I sent you?
I did. And I will answer it after this meeting.
Thank you.
I think I can figure out the problem.
I like to bring that up in old business because it is old business.
You have that right.
Andrew, if you go there today, they have the peanut butter chocolate.
Oh, wow. They always have that at the Brooklyn one.
I know they don't always have it there.
They always sold out.
Interesting.
Chris knows what we're talking about. Okay. If you see me looking to my right, it's because that's where I have the chat and the participants.
Okay.
And sometimes it's because that's where the cat is. Let me pause this until we're ready to start.
Pardon.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to our June Transit Riders Council meeting. May we have an approval of today's agenda?
Make a move to approve.
I second the motion.
Thank you very much. How about the minutes? Has everyone had a chance to peruse them? Any errors, omissions?
Andrew, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes. The minutes were excellent.
They were kind of excellent, weren't
I
they?
second the motion.
Yes.
Thank you, Shaul, for the excellent.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes. Thank you.
otherwise known as the picker. All right, so our guest is going to be here at 12:30. She's moved quite a few things around to accommodate us, so we're really happy. There are quite a host of communications issues that we would like to discuss with her. Plus, the MTA is doing a darn better job of getting messages out to the public than they have. And the quality of the messages appear to be much better and on point. So we will be discussing all of that with Sarah when she comes. But let's start with old business. Lisa has put that as a means to get to, so we don't get into my report, which is rather lengthy. So let's go to old business if we can. Does anyone have any items of old business they would like to raise?
Andrew, this is Chris. I did mention I want to bring up old business.
We do recognize your voice, Chris.
Thank you.
Yes.
Andrew, I sent this email to you because this is really related to old business, because it was kind of suspicious when we mentioned about a issue where the N, the Q, and the W trains always get delayed because of that 34th Street switch. And the last time we also heard that, they said they can't do the switch at 57th Street and 7th Avenue if I'm a Queensbound Q train, they're supposed to go straight, but there is a switch when it goes down to the 59th Street tunnel. All of a sudden, yesterday, I see there's a problem with the switch somewhere over there. And all of a sudden they're saying that the Brooklyn bound N, R, and W trains will arrive on the express track. All of a sudden you're realizing that switch is working. Why can't we ask the MTA, why can't the N go express from 57th Street, 7th Avenue, and continue going what is normally going over the Manhattan Bridge and then till 59th Street in Brooklyn? Because 34th Street will cause a lot of delays and hold trains behind, and with all, if case signal problems goes up or something else goes wrong, you have a lot of options there to do the switching, not once, but twice, and it will save some time. And since the W goes already local, it will then remind the people that there's not just one Astoria train, but there's a second one. So I'm asking for Transit Riders Council, can we please do something to speed up the trains in either direction?
Are you seeing Shaul's message, Chris?
I can't, I'm right now switching at the same time, so
Oh, well, he wrote that ridership from Astoria to 49th Street is very high per New York City Transit studies, and you need to put punch boxes at 5th Avenue and 59th Street to do this.
Yes, they should, because they said they were supposed to be doing that last time. I agree what he's saying.
Isn't this?
I don't have a problem with 49th Street getting served by all of those trains. There are a lot of destinations that people would go to, and that way they get a 1-seat ride versus a 2-seat ride, to be quite honest.
I'm just talking about the week. I'm
Isn't
sorry,
it-
Lisa, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, wasn't that a recommendation in our 100 days, 100 nights reports?
Yes,
And I thought I was under the impression, and Shaul, there was some chatter on Twitter about some of the changes that or recommendations in 100 days, 100 nights. I think that you were participating in that with I think along with Uday that were talking about some of the capital construction projects that were directly related to the report. I don't know.
Too bad we didn't
Um,
ask Demetrius these things when we had him last month. This was perfect for Demetrius.
Right, and it's unfortunate that Bradley's unable to be here today, but we can certainly
Right.
follow up on all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, de-interlining is the solution. Yeah, I think that's hopefully something that they'll work toward.
Okay, Chris just left to change.
But he's here twice.
Yes,
I
he'll
mean,
be here.
First he came back and then he left.
I'm back. I could just say I just switched from camera to camera.
Chris
I
is
see.
in 2 places at the same time.
Well, now
Yep.
I'm only one. The real Chris is right here. But no, what I'm saying is
You mean the one that
I'm not-
spoke to us before was a fake one?
No, that was my twin brother
Oh,
from another mother.
okay.
But on the serious note, just to answer his question also, during the rush, I'm just saying weekdays, because on weekends, the end goes local. But yes, I agree, 49th Street, it does get crowded, but at the same time, also 34th Street gets problems when there's so much traffic there. It's like if an R comes in, but the N comes in, the tower doesn't connect it to, it's holding the Q train behind, it'll hold another train behind. We just need to, the main thing is people in Queens want to get home a little faster, and God forbid something goes wrong. Let's say 34th Street switch is not working, it's always acting up. 57th Street has a double header switcher in the back and the front. And that's another way to get the trains controlled. So that the N can still go to Queens as normally Astoria, but the W is there too. It will get the W train a little more wake up times. So can we just, if we can do more study on that area during the weekday service, only like rush hour, the midday to the evening rush. During
Is
the
this
fall
only happening at certain times of the day and certain days of the week?
rush hours, it's been doing it.
Just
Sometimes
rush hours?
It's rush hours, and it depends of the midday. If something goes wrong, right now I'm going to say there's nothing wrong right now because, as you know, the W is going to 96th Street and the N is still going to Astoria because of track work. When they're not doing track work, they're delayed. There is a delay on the queue because it's coming all the way down to into the Brighton Beach line.
Chris, can you please send that email in addition to Andrew, to myself and to Bradley, and we'll get it to you, Shaul, also. And
I'll send it, Lisa. I'll send it to you since Bradley's not feeling well. I'll send it to you, and I'll send it to Bradley as well. But I don't have Bradley's email. I have to look.
Right. Okay, send it to me, and I'll get it out, and we'll follow
Okay.
up.
Thank
Okay.
you. No, I'm just trying to keep you guys on alert on this. This is
No,
maybe
that's
important.
good. we'll follow up. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other pieces of old business that anyone would like to discuss?
Yeah, Andrew, just to say that the cleaning at Fulton Street seems to be consistent. So they were very responsive.
Oh, I was hoping you weren't going to say consistently bad, but
No,
so it's improved.
It has. It's consistently better.
That's excellent news.
Yeah.
And Sharon, I did forward your observations about what you've seen on the Lex line vis-a-vis police in groups, not watching the fare evaders and other things. And I have been told that they will be assigning people to look at that location. So I'm waiting to see if you notice any improvements if and when you go back to that station. Trudy's picture is there. Does that mean she would like to speak? Because you're muted, Trudy.
Sharon won't be there till the cows come home
Right.
because the cows are in the background. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay.
Did they leave?
Ooh.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, you know, I was waiting for Sharon was going to respond, but I guess not. Anyway, quite some time.
Trudy, you
Maybe
got cut
because
off.
I
Can you
just-
start again, please?
Okay, am I on now?
Yep.
Okay. What I said is this is two not so minor bus problems again, which I hadn't brought up.
Trudy, you're turning mute on for some reason.
You've muted yourself, Trudy.
I can't hear you, Trudy. Did we lose her?
Okay, I just unmuted myself. You muted me for some reason.
No, I did not.
Well, I don't know. I got muted. Whatever.
It might
Very,
be a
very.
glitch.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, Trudy, I can hear you
Okay,
all the way from the other end.
You just muted again.
Judy, maybe touching some buttons inadvertently. If you touch the space bar on your computer, that mutes and unmutes you also.
She may be touching the space bar on our phone.
Yeah, or if you're touching the space bar on your phone, that may be muting and unmuting you. Maybe if you put yourself on speaker, then you won't have the issue. But you are muted. There
Okay,
you are.
now it says I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what it is. Maybe, well, as Andrew knows, my phone has been acting up with so many things. Very quickly, buses, when there is an SBS and a regular bus, and for some reason there are two different stops, one behind the other. And I have brought this up, and they said they were going to inform the drivers of this, that if they see a lot of people at, let's say, the SBS part of the stop, and a regular bus comes in, this happens regularly at the M15, especially at 86th and 2nd, that people will start running, to get on the other one. And there's also a shelter for the SBS part of the stop and not the regular. And for some reason, some of the drivers wait, they see like 5 people or even one person like me trying to get to the other part of the stop. But a lot of times they will one person will get on, or they see that there's nobody there or somebody gets off, and they immediately pull out. And this is done on a regular basis now. I don't know why it wasn't happening after I brought it up when we had our big bus meetings, but that's number one. And number two, it's a lot better that people are told to hold on the SBS, to hold on to their tickets. But the other day, it was an experience where there was an old woman, older than me, was, who got on the bus, and she didn't understand that she didn't have to hold on to the piece of paper in the ticket. And so she said to the driver, I didn't have time to get my ticket. Do you look for me, or can I just ride anyway? And he said, you will get off the bus right now, lady, because I'm running late, and I can't wait for you. And if you didn't pay, you can't. It took long for him to go through this. Some of the drivers, telling them that they can use it.
Trudy,
You're breaking up, but Trudy, did you get the bus number and the bus driver, any of the?
Honestly, I didn't, because it all happened so quickly, and by the time I write it down, but as I said, I can talk about other bus. Maybe we can have another bus meeting sometime soon, and I can bring these things up and other things that people have been reporting to me about buses. They call me the bus lady. Maybe Chris is the train man, but I'm the bus lady.
But when you have an issue like that,
Teresa, believe me, long before you get, I know. I just wanted to say that the other problem is an ongoing problem, and especially at the stop at 86 and 2nd. But I've brought this up so many times that when there is a joint stop, but it's two different places.
I've seen that at First Avenue and 79th as well.
Yeah, so maybe we can, the drivers could be told once again that if you see people at the other part of the stop or whatever, wait, because they can't stop for the, for the SPS and the other, can't be in two places at once, something like that. The other one, I think the number of the bus was 535, but look, let me not do a thinking. I reported it, and hopefully it won't happen again.
Yeah, that was not the right way to speak to
maybe we can put out a notice that you don't have to present your ticket to the driver, that, that you don't have to, okay, I'm going to put me back on mute because my other phone is ringing, and it's a call I've been waiting for. So thank you, and I will keep on listening to you, and you won't hear me on the other phone. Okay, bye-bye, or you can mute me. Thank you.
Are there any other items of old business that someone would like to bring to our attention?
I wanted to raise something that came up that you're going to talk about in your board report also, but I just had a conversation with the new reporter for AM New York about this. And it's about no cash transactions at the token booths, or at the booths.
Booths, yeah.
At the booths. I think that I'd gotten a picture from Jason Anthony a couple of weeks ago showing me, the no cash transactions, and I was like, well, are you surprised that that's still happening? And he said, no, he was showing me something else. But frankly, I thought that they had resumed, because I thought that since Long Island Railroad and Metro North had resumed, that they had started back on the subways as well. And my concern is really the way it was presented was just sort of a throwaway comment at the MTA board meeting when asked about something else. That, oh no, we're not going to resume cash transactions at the booths anymore, rather than doing a campaign or letting people know or having conversations with riders. And my concern, and you voiced this, Andrew, would be that then is this the next step to taking people out of the booths for good and shutting the booths down, as they did in 2010? Or, could there be a move to put people on platforms as ambassadors, as we have collectively called for?
More eyes on the station.
More eyes on the station. But just to let it drop as a a side comment at the board meeting, I think is not the way, not the best way to inform people that that this major change is A, going to continue, and B, it's like a policy that, you know, just here you go, that's it, no more.
I
'Cause it
think
does
that the
affect
cash
people.
transactions at booths have definitely declined. And when all Omni ticket types are available later this year, you're going to see the switch from Metrocard to Omni really take off, I have a feeling. And as you heard me ask at one of the meetings, I hope that there's room at the stations to accommodate both types of machines, because maybe you have less Metrocard machines and more Omni machines as the movement grows. But I just don't see that many transactions taking place at the booths once Omni is in everybody's pocket.
Right, but it's not there yet.
No, and I don't want to get rid of those employees. I want them to be eyes and ears on the platforms and answer questions, directions. Maybe someone's having trouble with a machine, whatever.
But I think especially right now, as people are getting back into the system, they're going into, you know, their top drawer, or they're going into a wallet they haven't used in a year, and they're finding an expired Metrocard, and they don't know quite how to change it for one that's, you know, for one that's being, you know, that's unexpired, for one that's an active card, or if they have questions about their WageWorks card. So, you know, you can still talk to people, but there are also people with, Christopher, I know you're going to say this, people who have accessibility issues, and people with.
Actually, no, actually, can I back you up on something, Lisa? As of June 21st, and I'm going to say, thanks to Pat Foy and Sarah Feinberg and Sarah Myers, the reducing advance are accepting the cash now. All the vans and the buses. So I just want to make that clear that as of June 21st, it's on the website, but they kept that secret. But good thing, I do get a little bit of news press stuff and more like from Reggie Bannon, because we do have meetings with the ACTR committee. They did tell us June 21st that the vans and buses are now will accept cash. Right now, they're still working on the credit card mode. But Andrew, I think the news stations are also getting the wrong information too, because I'm going to defend the booth people also. I do see them at the accessible stations helping seniors and people with disabilities at Atlantic Avenue, Utica Avenue in Brooklyn. Yes, and in Fulton Street too. So I will defend them because I have seen it. My friends have seen it. My cousins, my mothers.
Yeah.
My
I
own
don't know
mother's
who's
seen it.
attacking them. We're not, certainly.
No. It's not attacking Andrew. Let's not joke on this piece, because this is something that news people, and I know a lot of advocates are going to start going crazy. The news people are not getting the right part of the information, and I think that we need to make it very. If you're going to say something, say it correctly, or don't say anything, because it's enough for it that New York 1 made so many mistakes in their poll results. It's already they're making mistakes in transit. And I'm glad NJ Bergens made the correct message on it, because he mentioned about NYPD, as I mentioned last month. There are cops, but they don't have to show the uniforms. I've seen undercover, and I have to tell you, when I was doing mass sports in Brooklyn, I've seen cops, even in Manhattan, even in the Bronx, I have seen it. When I had to visit one of my closer friends' birthday, and I seen the cops. I've even seen undercover. There are things getting done. It's just that people got to remember there are NCOs, neighborhood community officers in their areas. Let's work on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm saying this. I'm speaking like not just Edith Prentice. I'm speaking like me as a person that sees it, and I do travel. But I always tell people, stay the conductor, stay with the train driver. Period.
Judy has rejoined us. Andy Pollock has his hand up.
Yes, he does.
So I'm going to be brief. So Andrew, we can still reload our Metro cards at the vending machines. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So when Omni comes in, let's say I get my disabled Omni card later this year, I can reload the Omni card and put money on it with the Omni machines.
You can, and you can do it through a computer as well.
Yes,
and
because
interestingly enough, let me tell you this. We were also told that Omni is going to be the first fare media that is going to be sold by third-party plate like a Dwayne Reed or a Walgreens
Really?
or whatever. And you're going to actually be able to reload it in their stores too, should you choose to.
So overall, I will still get a receipt when I make a transaction to reload my Omni card or Metrocard in
Absolutely.
general.
If you opt for a receipt, you do.
Yes, because I prefer to use the machine than just speaking to a person. But yeah, I do hope that we can figure out the situation later on. But that's just my questions I wanted to ask. I do need to reload my Metrocard next month anyway. So thank you.
Yeah. Later this year, we're getting the senior, the half fare, the disabled, the weekly and the monthly versions of Omni. And that's going to mean it's going to take off when that happens.
So
Andrew, I
I'll
have a
have my
question.
card by December then, hopefully.
Yes, and I believe the MTA issued Omni card will be available prior to December or around then at the latest.
All right. Well, thank you. Then I'll
Yeah.
have to call the MTA and ask them for the new card later this year.
I'm sure that they'll make the announcement. Stuart Goldstein has his hand raised.
Thank you, Lisa Daglian.
Oh, we're doing last names now. Okay,
I guess so.
I guess so.
It's all good. Since there'll be an overlap between the period where the Metro cards are in use and the Omni card is in use, are there any plans to convert or give credit to people who want to switch over immediately from their Metro card to the Omni card?
That's a great question, and it's one that I intend to ask Wayne Leiden, the person who is now in charge of Omni, who took when Al Poutre retired. In fact, I'm looking to try to get Wayne to be our speaker for the July Transit Rider Council meeting, because I think we have a lot of Omni questions now as time passes.
Because the station, what made me think of this is with Lisa's concerns about what's happening with the station booths. The clerks may be inundated with these types of questions as people don't want to be left out or want to convert their fare media. And then, the concerns about the expiration dates of the cards, whether you're going to lose money or there'll be a grace period to convert. So these are, emerging
Yeah,
questions.
I think there'll be an office where you can convert what you have from Metrocard to Omni, but I cannot imagine the booths doing that. It would back people up.
No, I'm not saying they would. I'm saying they'll be inundated with questions. So
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
But no, these are great questions, and I hope we'll have Wayne at our next TRC meeting.
Good luck, Andrew, because I know he's been booked like a bee, and right now the actor committee members have been a little bit pushing him a little rudely. I've been working with him very well, but just to give you a heads up, he's a good asset because I've worked with him for the last
I've
couple
seen
months
him.
with
He doesn't yell it's Omni time like Al did, but he knows his stuff.
Yes, I know. Please don't remind
He's
me.
been to our meetings. He came with Al.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did come with Al.
I second Lisa's emotion on that.
Okay, just waiting till our speaker arrives.
The doorbell just rang.
Is it Sarah?
It is Sarah. There is Sarah. Sarah, who is now an award winner at the Cannes Film Festival, is it?
Yeah.
It's the Cannes Festival for Creativity. So
The
it's
Cannes Festival for Creativity. Well, congratulations.
Not everyone can say that. So welcome to Sarah Meyer, MTA Chief Customer Officer. You weren't here, Sarah, but I said the communications with riders has really improved. You've done a great job. I know that there's a lot more we've spoken about that you'd like to do. So take it away. I know your time's limited.
Sure. Hi, guys. It's nice to see you all again. And for those who I haven't met yet, Sarah Meyer, I'm the Chief Customer Officer with the MTA. I've been here now for over 3 years, which is not a long time in comparison to many of my peers. But, at the same time, I have tried to bring in a more research-based approach, a more data-driven approach to bringing ridership back to marketing, to communications, and making sure that we're using our assets to the best possible way, right? We have really good bones here at New York City Transit and at MTA Bus and New York City Bus, New York City Transit Bus. So making sure we're using our screen network as best as we can. I don't know if you guys have recently seen, we've upgraded our screen templates, our arrival templates that now show our new service status box. So for those eagle eyes, we no longer have something called good service. Instead, we've moved to no active alerts. We've tried to create more categories that speak to the current conditions that customers are feeling on the subway. So we have slow speeds, delays, some delays. There are more categories than
Yep.
that we have now more than ever before. And we're piloting screens on trains too, which has been a very exciting new aspect. So, you know, I wanted to share a deck that talks about our Take the Train, Take the Bus campaign, if I could do that. I don't know if you need to give me any permission. Oh, there you go, Chris.
There you
Chris
go.
has a sticker.
You
And
should have permission now.
okay, great. Okay, so can you guys see this deck?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me
100%.
let me see if I can play it, but it looks like I'm just in preview, which I guess is what we'll use right now. Okay, so basically what we're trying to do, right, is normalize public transit in 2021. We had a big period where nobody was riding with us, right, except for essential workers. So in 2020, our challenge from a communications and marketing perspective was normalizing mask use. We all forget that we're pretty resistant to mask use back in early 2020. So doing some fun things with our digital screens and with, I think I've never seen the color yellow more in my entire life. But at that same time, the color yellow is a good caution color. It gets people to pay attention. So we made a mask man. We tried to make him as friendly as he could be. I remember those original design sessions where, you know, I think it might be actually helpful if I gave some of those assets to the Transit Museum and to you guys so you could see how he started out. He was kind of angry looking. We changed up the design to make him a little bit more acceptable and encouraging to those that might have been scared of wearing masks. So that's what we really focused on in 2020. So in 2021, we're trying to normalize public transit for those who have stopped riding with us. So our opportunities, you guys know that work travel is still hit or miss. There are some companies that have mandated return. There are some that have not. And that demand is out of our control, right? So it's not an area that we want to focus on with our marketing and communications. But discretionary travel, that we can certainly control. And we do know based on our bridges and tunnels data that discretionary travel by automobile recovered very quickly and is back to our normal levels. So there's no reason why, from our perspective, discretionary travel from on trains and buses can't come back to 100%. So that demand we really think is based on individual and peer perceptions of safety from COVID, from crime, since that is, you know, such a important piece that we found in our customer research. We know from news attention and our own perceptions, honestly, right, when we ride the system. So that's where we can really influence our riders. Our liabilities from our customer perception, not safe. The trains are not safe from virus. The buses are not safe, crime and homelessness, and the system is not clean, according to some of our customers. But we all know how much we have been cleaning the system. We all know that transit systems have not been vectors of the contagion. And so these are the things we're trying to push out more. We also want to leverage, right, the fact that the system is fast. It's cheaper than FHV, car ownership, taxis. We want to remind people of that. I think because people use Easy Pass and a lot of automatic bill pay, right? They don't recognize or realize how much car travel is different. We also want to make sure that it's people know it's easy, it's green, and if it's also our civic responsibility to use transit. So our strategy is focused on persuading those who are persuadable and address the concerns of the most hesitant when and where possible, but also don't obsess, right? Like if there are people that are hard and fast, those aren't the people we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to the easily persuadable folks. We're also seeing, as you guys know, weekend ridership recovered faster. That speaks to, again, that discretionary travel is more possible, is more persuadable. This is how we're trying to speak to New Yorkers. These are the key tone, the key pieces of how we can be unabashedly pro-transit and pro-urbanism. And this, we get some of these words from you guys, right? You are our #1 advocates. These are words that you guys tell me that we are, and we try and embed those into our advertising and marketing. So we also looked at past campaigns, and you guys will know these well. You know, MTA gets you there. This is a campaign from the 1970s that featured some zoo animals, but we also wanted to bring some of these concepts back, right? Because the Bronx Zoo is open, and it's a great place to go right now because it's almost all outdoors. Going Your Way, you guys will remember, this is a courtesy campaign that we did with what was called fondly the Bubble People, and Improving Nonstop, which is a campaign our capital programs were focused on. So we used some of this. We also remember fondly the We're Coming Back TV spots. If you guys haven't seen them recently, strongly encourage. If you just Google them, they come up on YouTube, and they're amazing, hilarious, and still relevant. Metrocard Gold. This was when we were introducing the Metrocard program, focusing on museums. So taking some of these themes that my predecessors developed, and making sure that we're using them and adapting and taking those good ideas still. So we landed on the simplest thing possible, right? Because we all know how complicated our lives have gotten, how much testing we're all doing, how much app filling out we're all doing. The rules are constantly changing. We get different guidance from the state every day, and everything's trending in the right way. But to those that aren't paying as much attention as Lisa and Andrew Albert and Chris and all of you are doing, it's confusing to people, right? All of this conflicting guidance, and we wanted something really simple that just explained what it is that we were trying to do, which is to get people to take the train and take the bus. We also thought it wasn't MTA specific, so other agencies could adapt this enough. And this was sort of how we started, right? We launched with the New York is Open campaign, which I can show you in larger type soon. We also have leveraged a campaign called Comeback and Signs of Affection, as well as Public Transit is Better. So we've been starting to launch some of these campaigns and are looking forward to rolling some others out later this summer. We are also making highway signs, which I'm really excited about. And you'll see those on the FDR and on the LIE. And we're not spending money for these. We are spending money to get them printed, but these are all donated advertising empty spaces that Outfront has been kind enough.
Just think, Sarah, if there was a U train, you could also do another sign of affection.
It's true. I always want to expand our services, so.
But Andrew, there's an L train for love.
It's true. Okay,
True.
so New York is Open is currently live on our digital screens.
These are great.
Yeah, really focusing on the railroad properties here. We have a couple city locations. Bryant Park is one of them, but we're still taking submissions. So if anyone has any great ideas for, you know, great outdoor spaces that you can get easily accessible by rail, you know, please send them to me or to Joe Chan, and we'll get them incorporated.
Sarah, I have a question.
Of course.
So on some of the prior slides, you were showing take the train, take the bus. Now you're showing railroad posters. Shouldn't we also be trying to focus on integration of all the different systems? Because this is coming out under the MTA moniker with the Omni card coming down the pike, and, you know, use of the system on different systems. Shouldn't we be encouraging all in one? You know, take the train and the bus, take the railroad and the train and the, you know,
Yeah.
not to think that people's rides would be longer, but that you could all, you know, you could use all of these modes. And I think we should be pushing them as one MTA as opposed to the different spheres.
Totally. And I'm in line with that suggestion. And we've been trying to do it where we can, right? I think for the hashtag purposes, take the train and the bus was just too long.
Okay.
Using social media, but at the same time, if you look at the New York is Open campaign, right, the majority of these ads ran in the subway. So we're advertising railroad destinations in the subway, which is something we haven't done with our digital screens before.
Right.
We've done it with the paper ads that were on in the train cars, but we've never done it on this type of scale. And you'll also see the take the train hashtag is incorporated on these assets.
Yeah, you know, because it's a great idea, and some of our train stops are co-located with railroad hubs, so it's a great thing.
Yeah, maybe on these, if we're going to continue to use these, maybe at the bottom somewhere we could say, and Penn Station and Grand Central are easily accessible from your home subway stop or something like that, your home station.
Okay, well, we'll take a look.
Thank you.
Okay, so this was the comeback campaign that we wanted to work in. Again, mostly digital campaign. New York, home of the comeback. New York, the comeback city. New York's making a comeback. Get on board. And you know, we did put some railroad assets here. New York's making a comeback on the bottom right. This has been doing pretty well. And we're generating some clicks to our getaways pages and to the Omni pages, which always, you know, the Omni system is doing really well. I can't wait for it to be rolled out to the railroads, and can't wait for it to be rolled out for reduced fare and also for unlimited rides, because I know that's the majority of the folks on this call, at least, and you know, my friends and family who use the unlimited packages, they're really excited for it. Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Trudy,
Yeah.
you just went off.
Judy, you were talking, now you're muted, Judy. There you go.
I should be, it says I'm unmuted.
Now we hear you.
Okay, very quick question. Hi, Sarah. I think this is
Hey.
a wonderful, wonderful program that you've done. It's really, but I have one suggestion. With all the landmarks and the parks and everything, have you thought of,
You just muted again, Trudy.
The secret to the universe is Judy, you're now unmuted. Now you're muted. Unmuted.
okay, am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Okay, very quickly, something simple like take the train to your friend's house, take the bus to your doctor's appointment. Take, you know, the simplest things that people use public transit for.
Okay, cool. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Well, that's the kind of thing I used to do, so. But really, just letting people know that they have a simple, use for the trains and buses.
You know, one other thought, just working it in reverse, that people can do the work for you. You know, with the city-funded cultural institutions, you can ask them to put up flyers and posters, because there are others that are tourists and visitors that see what these modes of transportation are. They may get ideas for maybe supporting another cultural institution, you know, that they have reciprocal agreements for. Even our transit museum, even our Grand Central store. You know, if the campaign posters could be circulated at the cultural sites themselves, you know, they're doing some of the advertising for you, in addition to what you're doing in the subways and railroads and other venues. Just a thought.
Thank you.
And I did like Shaul's suggestion about selling these as t-shirts, sweatshirts, things like that. Wearables.
Yeah, so that's an interesting problem that we kind of have right now, which is that all the merch that we sell has to be sold through the Transit Museum.
But they're reopening. They reopened this week, right? So
They are reopening, but I need you guys
Thank
to tell the Transit Museum that you'll buy this stuff, because they think, you know, sometimes that I'm Sarah with my kooky ideas and nobody's going to buy it.
I think these would sell.
I hope so.
Can I add something, Sarah, since you just said something that, first of all, don't even put yourself down like that. That's not, because first of all, people I know once, they're still asking when they're going to ever sell the Train Daddy shirt. So please, you know, they're still asking for that. But, you know, Sarah, you and I discussed this when we were at the Brooklyn Cyclone game. You know, part of that area in Brooklyn, and Stuart can vouch with me on this as well, we have Sheepshead Bay right now. Unfortunately, Sheepshead Bay train station does not have an elevator yet, which I'm still, you know, advocating. But those areas are beautiful. We have restaurants, we have the bay, people can go see the swans, or people are still going to the beach, because the last time we did Mask Force, we almost ran out of boxes of masks because they're all coming off the train, all grabbing the washables, not the paper ones. So those areas need to be give a little more attention, especially the Rockaways on the A line, you know, the Rockaway, because, you know, people like to drive on the train just to get that fresh air. Sometimes they don't care the air conditioning is not on in the A, because they're smelling all that fresh air. And, you know, since New York City is opening, we need to put some stuff in New York City. And I hope we can do a slogan for accessibility, which I'll save my question for that for later on. But I want to just say that, you know, since we have a lot of places that are reopening, we need to get attention from all the 5 boroughs, from Staten Island, Brooklyn, because Staten Island has the harbor, the new malls over there near the ferry that needs to be brought to attention over there. Queens has a lot of events. Even Lisa Dackney can vouch with me, especially Flushing, the parks, Long Island City.
We're already crowded. That's what I'm like. Don't say anything about Long Island City.
I was waiting for you to say that. That's why. I was waiting for. That's why.
But I'd rather have it say, take the train to Long Island City and leave your car at home. Don't drive to the park. Take the train to the park.
Keep going, Lisa. You're reading my mind right now. You're on the track with me. Same track. We need to remind people, stop using their cars. Take the train, take the bus. Because, you know, Long Island Railroad is doing a deal right now with their monthly, and then if a person's going with them, they get additional $1 and they can go somewhere. But not on the Montauk branch, but on the other lines, because people need to know there's other directions. So I hope we can do that. It might be fun. And I'll help.
And to be quite honest, the sign here that says takes you anywhere in NYC for just $275. If you have a multiple ride, obviously it's less than $275 a ride. So maybe we should have or less in parentheses if you have a weekly or monthly.
It's true.
And you
Chris,
know,
you
that's the ride is the cheapest in New York City.
Chris, you said take the train, take the bus. So we could say, don't fuss, take the train, take the bus.
You know, I was right. I agree with you, Stuart, on that one. Yes.
I'm writing that down.
Yes.
Okay, great. So our next piece is the signs of affection. This is really focused on the subway and using the subway you know, basically the design standards that Massimo Vignelli set, you know, so many years ago. So Enter Here is a really fun one. We actually put this up on our digital screens that are outside the stations. So that's really a fun one. And, you know, using some Valentine's Day themed concepts here, and really love how these turned out.
Clever. The food delivery one's very clever.
Second,
Okay, great. So the next one is public transit is better. And this focuses on New York's coming back, so is the traffic. You'll be coming back to the cleanest railroad ever, right? Going back to those items in green from the beginning of the deck, making sure we're hammering each of those points. Also wanted to really focus on the new bus lanes, and you know, again, to Commissioner Albert's point, food delivered to you, food you delivered to food, you know, looking at Little Italy.
Very clever.
So these are some of the highway signs we're looking at. There is an all black version that I think we're going to go with. I will send that to you guys separately when we have approved art, but really, you know, focused on don't be traffic and take the train is the copy that I think we're landing on here. And here's an example. You guys, the number one asset that sort of still drives me crazy is we have this very old Metro North sign. I don't know if you guys are ever on the Harlem River Drive, but it celebrates their 25th anniversary or 25th something, and it has a date on it of 2008 current. So this would replace that sign. It's not an easy thing to replace because it requires flagging, and I think they actually do have to shut down the highway overnight for an hour or so while they replace this. So these are some of those concepts that we presented to President Rinaldi, and hopefully we'll get that moving soon.
There was a very old sign on the Long Island Railroad when I was growing up that said, "Traffic of pain, relax on a train." And another said, "Driving can be fun on the golf course."
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. So again, if we have a little bit more money, we're gonna print some ads to go on our buses. You know, again, we see this don't be traffic concept, and New York is making a comeback. And here are some of the new digital signs that we have that we want to make sure we're using. And you guys are very familiar with the out front signs, I know.
And I want to talk to you about those when you're done with this.
Please.
Yes.
So here's some of the merch you guys know is available on the Transit Museum site. These are some that are in concept. Wanted to hear from you all if you have any other ideas for Long Island Railroad or Metro North t-shirts. Open to suggestions. Would love to incorporate any ideas.
I do, but I'll wait.
You can put them in the chat if you guys want to. These are talking about articulated buses, which are affectionately called Bendy Boys on Twitter, and the fastest way around the city. And then we're also creating some new videos that are sort of Anchorman style, telling people how easy it is to use the subway. Those will come out later this summer. And, you know, talking about, this is another video concept around someone's first ride back. Just wanted to get these all ready for Labor Day when we expect, you know, a larger swath of people to come back to work. So that's what I wanted to show you guys today. And then I'm happy to answer questions and talk about the out front screens, Commissioner, whenever you're ready.
Sure. Just let me get a couple of these hands. The first of which was Shaul. So go ahead, Shaul.
Hello. Thanks so much for the presentation and for coming. I think I recall either you or someone else saying that a lot of the old subway posters, which I collect, used to have subway maps showing the reroutes, and then I heard that either from you or someone else that because that person left in the hiring freeze, they couldn't be done anymore. With the relaxing of the hiring freeze, is it possible to have more of the maps on these service change posters? Because for regular riders, it's really hard to decipher them.
Yeah, so we just, right, as you guys know, the hiring freeze was lifted. There was one graphic artist role, I think, that was posted about 3 weeks ago. So given that, I would imagine interviews would start soon, which means we'll have somebody, I hope, by late summer, early fall, to help with map creation. You know, we are still, I'm still doing what I can to fight for more resources, but at the same time, right, we still need more train operators and bus operators, and that comes first. So once things start to stabilize on the hiring front, we'll start to try and work and expand our team.
Thanks. I just have one more thing. Something that I've always wondered about is that even before there are screens in the subway, because I knew they're eventually going to come, is currently there are a lot of screens in cars. It'd be great if there's some way to leverage them. And say, for instance, you're on the L train at Union Square, and you're heading towards 8th Avenue, and then there's a screen saying, "Oh, there's a delay on the ACE at 8th Avenue," and then you decide based on that, "Oh, I'm going up Central Park West, so I might as well get off at 6th Avenue and take the F to the D," or something like that. Is there any way to leverage those screens to have sort of real-time updates on delays, service changes?
It depends on which screens you're talking about. So could you be a little bit more specific? The reason I ask is we have to have the screens talk to our service change system, which is called Mercury. And some screens are loaded and connected to Mercury, but some aren't, and some are not scoped to. So we're trying to get as many screens as we can.
Yeah, I was specifically referring to the ones within subway cars. I imagine that would be harder.
Yeah, it's harder, but a goal. But a goal that is, I would say, several years away.
Thank you.
No problem.
Chris?
Sarah, hi again. One thing, there was a couple of questions. At least we got 2 of them done, and I already put one in for you. One thing that a lot of people have been asking about this, one shirt they've been driving us nuts, not the one I'm wearing, the other one, Mass Force, because every time I wear a different shirt from Mass Force, they want to know when you're going to sell that kind, not the one with all the different pictures. That's the one they've been asking for in the transit store.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Chris, right, if that's an official,
I know.
if you're a volunteer on Mass Force, then you get the shirt, but you can't just buy it.
Right. I tell people, if you want the shirt, you have to volunteer.
Yeah.
I agree with Lisa on that, because that's what I've been saying too, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that one. Definitely, because a lot of people have been like, every time I'm doing mass, they were like, they love the shirt, they love this, and I'm like, and the button, and I told them, sorry, you got, as Lisa said, and I'm going to say the same way, you must volunteer. And it has worked on some, because we have gotten more volunteers. But speaking of volunteers, please, I hope if we do Mass Force in July, can we please still keep Coney Island, because we did a lot of that, and I'm hearing that you might have to cut some areas. I got people right now, the volunteers who were there, love doing it, because they're not just there in Coney Island, they're on the trains as making sure people are working together. We had the Explorers, we had the CERT team, and they really have been doing really hard work. So I hope we can get a big thank you to them as well, because they have been really a bit proving that we need the Mass Force in the Brooklyn, and part of Atlantic goes into Manhattan, but at least it's getting done, as you will always need it done. I just ask, please do not discontinue Coney Island, because I don't want to have to hear everyone crying down there on that as well.
Thank you.
So Sarah,
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate the announcements on the trains. I'm not sure if this is you're doing about the accessible stations. I think that's been great to hear. I haven't heard it on the 7 trains. I don't know if it's coming there. And I'm wondering also if there are announcements that then get made if a station is out, or if, you know, there's the elevator's out at this station, you can take it at the next one, or the escalator's out here, move forward for the elevator.
Yeah, so agreed on all fronts. This is an initiative that the System-Wide Accessibility Group is leading. So they'll have more information on when the 7 line rolls out. These are all pilots. And at the same time, the hope, right, is that the real-time information on elevator availability will get to the conductors and they will actively cancel the announcement if the elevator is not operating. So that's
The path system announces when elevators are out and advises you where to go and all of that. So Sarah, on the
Andrew,
out-front screens,
And
please
Andrew,
let me get this out, Chris. She has limited time, very limited. We'll get to you, I promise. If there are now strip maps on these out front digital map screens, which is wonderful and it's great, but they're not platform specific. There are express trains showing on local platforms and vice versa. And once I even had to report to Demetrius that in Court Street on the R and N line, they actually had the opposite direction on the wrong side of the platform on these digital maps. So I'm wondering if our contract with Outfront means they pay attention to the accuracy, or is it transit employees or your department that pays attention to whether these are showing the right info in the right place?
Yeah, so it's transit. It's my team that need to make sure that they're showing the right information in the right place. So understood that there were some errors that were made on the express local platforms on some screens. This is, made a little bit more complicated by planned work that
Right.
some platforms change, right? Depending on routing. So we're taking a look at it and we'll come back with an alternate plan because this one's not working.
That's great. And as you heard us discuss at the board meeting, when there are these lags in service due to not enough staff and that sort of thing, it would be good to get that message out. Either whether it's on the countdown clocks or on another screen, you may experience less frequent service due to staffing shortages, rather than letting people think this is the actual normal schedule. I think that would be good PR.
Yep. Agreed.
Hi, this is Trudy. I just switched to phone because my Zoom wasn't working. And just very quickly, if I missed it already, I just want to say my personal congratulations to Sarah. I know what it took. And Andrew, did you mention about the Cannes Film Festival?
It was mentioned early on, Trudy. Yes, indeed.
Oh, it was? Okay,
Yeah.
That's all. Because that is something that everybody works for, and I think it was 1 out of 25,000 or something. So it is really an accomplishment. Okay, I'm sorry, I missed it then.
All right, thanks, Trudy. Chris, did you have something else?
No, I already put it in the chat to answer that question, because part of ACTA, I'm on the technology committee. Rachel already said they're working on it on the 7 line. There were some software problems on the 7 on that. I know it's already on the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and they're supposed to be doing it on some of the ends, any R160s. There's still some computer minor thing. So we should have another meeting about it coming soon. But I also wrote something for you, Sarah Myers, to have an idea on something else.
Great.
Great. I think Andy Pollock, you'll be the last one. I know Sarah has to go.
All right, I'll be quick. So Sarah, very, very good presentation. And Andrew knows this very well. I had spoke to the board earlier this week about alleviating the traffic, because the traffic here in Queens has just become outrageous. And right now, we've got to get more people back on public transit to alleviate that, especially how we're approaching a very busy July 4th travel season coming up next week. So I'm hoping once people see the ads on numerous highways, then the message will get out clear. Hey, it'll take a lot quicker if you just come back to the system than just sitting in your car and wasting gas and wasting tolls, obviously.
And wasting time. Yep. Can you take one more, Sarah, or do you have to go?
I can take one more, but then I have to go. But thank you.
Okay, I think
You all know-
Finley's hand is up.
Hi, Finley.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good.
So I don't know if this has been addressed. I think it was addressed earlier. We were talking about it. I think it was about the pulling the cash tolling, the cash in the booth thing. I understand that that's an issue, but how are like the people who work in the booths are going to be, are they going to be reassigned to different positions, or?
Same positions, they're still going to be in the booth, but they're also going to be out of the booth, which is, from my perspective, much better from a customer service point of view. They can give you help with the MVM machines. They can open the exit gate if it's not working, or if something is, something's not happening correctly. They can also walk up and down the subway platforms.
Exactly what I said.
To make sure
Right,
that
right.
everybody is safe and everybody is complying with our rules. So this is really good for all of our long-term objectives, right? You look at every other major subway system in the world, and very few are still accepting cash at booths. We do have a very robust MVM system, but we also have, right, all those bodegas that sell Metrocards, and we're going to be expanding to a lot more stores starting in the fall with the OmniCard. So we're getting there. I understand. I do think the rhetoric is a little overblown this morning, because this will be in all of our long-term objectives. And right now we haven't made any decisions. We're still right in that same mode we were in March 2020 during the height of the pandemic.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. I wrote something down in the chat, but I guess I'm on mic. I might as well tell you right now. I've been doing the whole mask force thing since November, which honestly is a good way for me to get outside. So I've noticed throughout the months I've been doing some shifts at Coney Island around the PM or something. There's this person who is part of it, who is known to be changing roll signs, breaking into train cabs, and even pulling the e-brake from time to time, mostly in Manhattan on the N and Q in that section. And he's been known for doing this thing for years even. I'm pretty sure he's been caught by security most of the time, but I really don't understand how he's not banned from the system yet, since he's a repeat offender. I mean, I wrote down his name in the chat or whatever.
I understand, and I have talked to security. I know others have, and we'll leave that at that. We'll go forward knowing that the MTA takes all of these reports really seriously, and if there was something that we could act on, we would be acting on it at this point.
Right, of course. I mean, he is a repeat offender. I mean,
I understand.
We get it. Sorry, but Sarah has to leave. She stayed overtime for us, and we really appreciate it, Sarah.
Sarah, thank you so very much.
Congratulations on your award. Well deserved.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Sorry, folks, but we did have a time limit with our speaker, and she's doing great work.
Sweet.
Were
So
there any?
Andrew, I just want to say that was really interesting. That was like a little drop in that about the booth agents will be walking around on the platforms and stuff. That's not something that really has been put out there. So that was really,
no.
That was very good to hear, and that's what they should be telling.
It was excellent to hear, because that we're on the same page now.
But they need to be telling people, because if there is a level of hysteria that's not hysteria, but outcry, I would say. I'm looking at an email that I had gotten from somebody who, anonymous mail email. Oh, I don't know who it is, so I can't reply, nor would I reply to somebody who's anonymous, but somebody's talking about, the concerns that they have about not having cash transactions anymore. That's one aspect of it, but the other is absolutely about the eyes on the system and taking people out of the booths. So it should be something that the MTA is saying, where this is going to give more attention to to riders on platforms. So maybe that's something that we can encourage them to convey.
Yes, I think it would behoove us to send a letter conveying the importance of keeping the booth agents and having them do other duties. I've spoken to a few of them. They're not fans of leaving the booth, but if it was a matter of that or having your position eliminated, I don't think it's any contest.
Andrew
Trudy, go ahead.
and Lisa. Yeah, Andrew and Lisa. I know you have a close relationship. Oh, my mind is on New York One. What's his name? You know, who does the transit?
Dan Rivoli.
Dan Rivoli. Today, and I know you don't get New York One, Andrew.
I don't.
Today, that was his lead story. The hysteria was made even more violent by what that was the lead of what came out of the board meeting yesterday.
Oh, please.
About the total. I'm honest. I'm telling you true. So if either of you could get to him and have him do the lead story tomorrow, that if he doesn't want to say that he screwed up, but something that he can do that calms down the hysteria. And Elisa, you're absolutely right. That is hysteria.
But it's not our story to tell. That's you know this better than anybody, Trudy. That's the MTA story to tell. And I'm shocked that they're not. No,
but Andrew is on. Andrew, you're on the board.
But if Finley hadn't asked that question, we would.
I know, but it happened already. I'm giving you a suggestion, and that is my area. So I am telling you, and that's why I'm not calling him. I think Andrew, you should call him and say that he, that if he could not correct, but maybe
I can give him a call.
Amplify, how to do it. But that has led to so much. Lisa, you used the absolutely right word, hysteria, that is going on right now.
Yeah, obviously this happened at the press conference. Didn't even happen during the meeting. Clayton,
no, I think it happened. I seem to remember
it
happening during the meeting. Well, whenever it was, then maybe it was when I was tuned to it, and I said, "Oh my God," and then it just went I said to myself, I didn't say it out loud.
Okay. Who's iPad 105? Is that Sharon?
Yeah, it is. Can you hear me?
Okay, Sharon.
If the booth agents leave the booths, can they help monitor for fare jumping? Or is that too dangerous for them?
Yeah, I don't think that's the group that would be doing that. Although if they're there, it may dissuade some people rather than being locked in the booth. I thought that if they were out of the booth, looking up and down the platforms, helping people with machines, with questions about travel directions, whatever, that would be a much better usage of them.
I guess so, but there's
especially since with Omni, everything is going to not be in the booth. It's all going to be done on your phone, on your computer, or in a machine.
Okay, as long as it isn't just more people not loitering around the way the police and the other people seem to be loitering around.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, or should I move to my report now?
Andrew, I have my hand up.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Chris.
One thing I'm really, and I actually agree with Trudy and everyone saying, but I'm really upset with the news stations because I know what Sarah Meyer said, I know what Andy Byford said, even everyone. The problem is, it doesn't matter. The way the news station, especially New York One, really gets me really angry is they don't get the facts correctly. Because, first of all, this is not even a secret. It is, the truth was out already. The booth, when the Omni starts, the booth, those boxes, whatever you want to call them, are supposed to be removed, period. The booths are going to be out there. They're going to be turned into booth ambassadors, whatever name they're going to be called. As you said, Andrew, before, that is correct. Lisa is correct. Trudy's correct. The problem is, Andrew, if we have to do our own press conference as Transit Writers Council, let them get the facts right because it's enough already. They don't get it right for accessibility. They don't get it right for booths, especially with NYPD. Because if ABC7 and Jay Bergens has put it up on the newsletter, they had it correctly, showing every area. Every year. Trudy,
Chris, can
before
we
you
have a
finish,
conversation? Chris, stop. Chris, can we have a conversation? You know that PR communications is what I do for a living, what I did
Yes,
for a
I
living.
agree with you on
And
that.
let me talk to you why it's not as simple as that and why I made that suggestion to Andrew. Let's not go on right now. We all know, but let's just talk about this particular instance and clearing it up. And I think a call from Andrew to Dan will do it.
No, I agree with him doing that.
But Chris, I will explain to you why us doing a press conference or anything else, it won't matter. Trust me on this, okay? And let's just move on from here. Let's move on from here if we can. Okay.
Up to a point, Trudy, I agree with what you're saying, but let me finish.
Chris, let's talk offline. I will call you.
No, this is something else. Trudy, hold on. This is something else I also got to add in. It's nothing to do with what we're saying now. I'm stopping that point. All I'm just saying is, before we do, and I agree with Trudy, you're 1,000,000% correct. All I'm just saying for the last word, let's just make sure we all work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get into my report because it's fairly detailed. Item number 1, leadership changes at the MTA. Everybody has heard that Pat Foy is going to Empire State Development. Sarah Feinberg will become chair and Jano Lieber will become chief executive officer. The wrinkle in all of this is that while the Assembly has approved this change, the Senate has not, and the Senate is now out on recess. They have talked about coming back prior to the end of this month. We will see if they do. There is some resistance to the splitting of this one job into 2 positions, and we will see where that goes.
Andrew, I'm going to interrupt because the Senate will be coming back.
Do you have a date?
There is another. It should be within the next 2 weeks. And that is because there was a very important bill that in the Assembly that somehow got written the wrong way, and it was something that was important to the Senate. How it happened, who knows, whatever. So they have to go back for a meeting, and then everything will be straightened out. And it should be within what I have been told is that it should be within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, because
I
Pat
thought they
is
had
talking
changed-
about his last day being the end of July,
I
July
thought they
30th.
had changed that language so that it would be confirmation for both positions, and that was the
Yes.
sticking point.
That
But
was
the
definitely,
Senate-
But there was another. They weren't going to change the language no matter what until this other bill that was important to them. Somehow it got written incorrectly. How such a thing happens, who knows? You know, fate,
Yep.
kismet, whatever. But that's
We will
why they're
see.
going back.
yeah, we will see.
Okay, I'm sorry that I interrupted, but
No, thank you for that. That's good to know that
Yeah.
they're coming back. So there are the governor now with the relaxation of the state's state of emergency, there are new rules for outdoor stations and bus stops. Mask wearing is not required at a New York City bus stop. Before you get on the bus, it is still required, of course. At an elevated train station, it is not required, but on the trains it is. And obviously on commuter rail, if you're outside, it's not required, but once you board the train, it is. That's effective today, so that's something. Ridership gains have been really great. They've been well above what has been predicted in various corners, including the McKinsey report, so let's hope this continues. But we hit like 2.6 something, almost 2.7 million riders on the subways alone last Friday. Metro North and the Long Island Railroad continue to gain ridership. Metro North has a new schedule in effect, which has boosted service. Another boost will happen August 29th for Metro North. On the Long Island Railroad, the Port Washington branch still has hourly service on weekends because they are doing concrete tie installation and other work between Bayside and Great Neck. So that will still maintain 1 hour service, although weekdays it is half hourly and more frequent than that in rush hours. So ridership gains is a very good sign. Now, you heard me speak with Sarah about service. There is a big issue with the freeze that took place for hiring during the pandemic. Unfortunately, bus operators and train operators were hit with that hiring freeze, and some have retired, some have succumbed to COVID, some are not back yet. So there is a gap in what should be the schedules and what service is actually being provided. And that's why I said to Sarah, that message needs to come out, that we don't actually plan to schedule trains every 17 or 18 minutes, for instance, on the sea, but with a staff shortage, that's what has happened at certain times of the day. And I did hear that they are trying to ameliorate this by incorporating some runs and running some other trains on local tracks so that no station has a very, very long wait for service. They have done that on Central Park West on a variety of days. I've noticed that. But this is not a scheduled service cut. This is a staff shortage. And I think the MTA needs to get that message out, because otherwise people would say, oh my God, look, trains, if you look at the countdown clock, trains are scheduled only every 17 or 18 minutes. That's ridiculous. So hopefully they got that message and they will do something about that. And I know it takes 3 months to hire a bus operator, and it takes 8 months to train a train operator. And they are interviewing, but it takes time to get them back in. And so these shortages are not going away anytime real soon. And that's not good when ridership is going to return. And especially we expect after Labor Day, it's going to really, really return. So we'll see where that goes. A definite sign of return to normalcy is that the Music Under New York program is back. Maybe it's happening at a station near you, but that's always a nice thing to see. Hopefully where they're situated is not such that it drowns out announcements or anything like that, because announcements with service changes and GOs, and there are so many GOs taking place now, are very, very important. As far as safety goes, we've turned a corner, it appears. There have been a few days with markedly no major violent attacks, which is a great sign. Pat Warren, the chief safety officer, gave an update, and they will be actually putting an additional, let's see how many officers, 135 officers are joining the MTA Police Department. In addition to what they have now, the MTA PD patrols commuter rail as well as the subways, and the NYPD, of course, is the big force in the subways. Crime has been down the first few weeks of June. Hopefully this sends a good message that it's a good idea to come back and try the system out and use the system. As far as the finances go, Bob Ferran has announced that they are working on the July financial plan. Things are okay right now. Fares and tolls have come in above their estimates, but still way below pre-pandemic. And somewhere down the line, if things don't return in a timely fashion, we could be in another crunch. Bob did report that that he understands that congestion pricing is on the way, and those capital monies will be forthcoming. In the meantime, some operating monies have been given to capital to sustain the increase in the capital program. There are obviously ADA stations taking place. There are line extensions. There are things like, I'll just give you an example of the capital construction that's taking place now. The 2nd Avenue subway phase 2 is taking place. There have been some public hearings about properties that are being taken as the line extends. Not only will the line be going to 125th between Lexington and Park, but there will be layup tracks going all the way as far west as Malcolm X Boulevard. So there are properties and all kinds of easements that have to be obtained by the MTA, and those are out there already. You may have seen on the news the Floral Park station of the Long Island Railroad got some elevators, which is great news. That station is relatively high up. And obviously 57th Street on the NQRW is now fully accessible, which is a great thing. considering it's right by Carnegie Hall, lots of restaurants, and lots of other points of interest, Central Park. So that's an important station to be made accessible. Also, it has been announced that there is a contract out to 2 companies for installation of ultra wideband frequencies. Some of us got a demonstration of that. It's a fabulous technology. It can be installed cheaply, quickly. It's an add-on to CBTC. It's not a substitute, but there are plenty of places where we could see it installed prior to having the actual hard copy of CBTC installed. And this is great. So the capital plan is absolutely continuing. Now, I did ask of Bob, is the money that has been advanced from the operating funds to capital until we get congestion pricing in place and they get lots of capital, is that going to be repaid to operating? He says we are keeping track of every dollar of that, and he expects it will all be repaid to the operating budget. Because I don't want to hear we can't run trains because we gave this money to capital. That was not the subject of congestion pricing. We expected everybody to benefit from that, and apparently we are keeping track of that, and it will. I will also add that, as Chris mentioned earlier, the Summer Saturdays program is back at Long Island Railroad and Metro North, which is a real incentive to ride to places out on the island or upstate or along the Hudson, because if you have a monthly ticket to any destination, it will be honored to any destination. Plus, if you have people with you, they can ride along for $1 per person. And this is in effect until August 29th, I believe, or something like that. So this is a great program to get people out and about on this August 28th. It's just great to get people out on the system. As far as the Long Island Railroad goes, Passengers United, as well as other groups, and I believe the Long Island Railroad Commuter Council, have been asking for substitute bus service when mainline third track is disrupting train service overnight. That Phil Eng announced that service is being provided. And this is great because they had you riding on a very circuitous route to get to your destination, depending on what your destination was. But with the overnight bus service, you'll have a much more direct route and will likely save time. So that is wonderful news. I will also add that the M8 fleet on Metro North has been now equipped so that the boarding level, it will show up on Metro North train time, which is obviously for the New Haven line of Metro North, which is great news. And both train time apps have been upgraded to show much better information, which is wonderful. And the last thing I would say is that a new company they've gotten a procurement now. The name of the company is Trapeze, and they are going to put a much better and more accountable and more real check-in system for Metro North and Long Island Railroad employees. So instead of having separate time clock check-ins and programs, they will have a unified program, and everybody will eventually be on this program. So the MTA will be able to track people's attendance, which is great. And pretty much that is my report. I'll take questions if anyone has any. Chris, your hand is up. But it usually is. Is this from before or is this new?
This is new.
Okay,
New.
go
This
ahead.
is new. No, just to back you up on one thing. The only thing on the Long Island Railroad, you can't use that special deal on the Montauk branch because they have
Montauk
as he
branch,
said that
yes.
in the board. He did say that at the board, part of the board, because that line is very heavy. They're trying to focus more on the
Yes,
green,
yes.
the other branches, because people got to know there's other trains, other areas.
Right.
not
There
just
is,
the Montauk
everybody's going to the East End, to the to the Montauk branch and the Hamptons, and the train space is limited. So yes, the
And
deal
there's
is not
delays
on
on
that.
it too. And there are delays, and I can tell you, I have seen it on my email. There are delays, but that's a good delay, I'm going to say, because
Yeah.
that means the ridership is getting stronger. Just like in Coney Island, going the Rockaways, it's getting good. That's the one thing.
They're
That's
not all
what we
good.
like to-
They're not all good delays. Some of them are signal problems. Some of them are track
Right.
I'm
problems.
not talking about
a
signal
lot of
problem.
them
That's
are
the bad.
equipment
That's the bad one.
problems. So
He means overcrowding delays.
Yeah.
Overcrowded delays, I'm only talking
Boarding,
about.
Well
That's
timed.
where-
Yeah.
Well
But,
timed,
yeah.
yes.
I wasn't trying to think of signals. I don't want to jinx that, if you know what I mean, Lisa. But no, but to answer, I did attend the 57th Street and 7th Avenue as the ACT member.
Yeah, I
And
saw
just
you in,
want to say that the entrance of that elevator, we have to make it also clear, the entrance is on 55th Street and 7th Avenue.
Yep.
So it's because there is another elevator that's there, but only goes to the mezzanine that's on the 57th Street. But Q and Victor were glad that these two, the ACT member, it was supposed to be more ACT members, but lucky they asked me because a lot of them have not attended or have resigned on that. But I'm still on the ACT committee. I'm still there. But just let everyone know that the 57th Street and 55th Street and 7th Avenue is beautiful. It is nice to see it. Lighting is good. They had to fix the hump a little bit, but you know, where they lit in the middle of the platform, but they did fix that during Fast Track.
well, that's less of a problem than what happened the other day at the 135th Street B and C station, where a car smashed into the 137th Street entrance and remained lodged in there for a while, and everybody was directed to use the 135th Street end only. So, you know, these things are happening. Yes. Anybody else with a question about the board or update on anything that you would like to know? Lisa, did you want to give an update on the search for office help?
So we have been interviewing for our 2 vacancies, which is terrific. We've been meeting with our HR coordinator, and through them have made an offer to an administrative assistant who and now it goes through the long and winding road that is the MTA hiring process. And hopefully they will accept the offer that is made and will come join us soon. That we have had 2 candidates that we're deciding between. So either one of them would be wonderful. The person that we're hoping for, we think might be slightly more wonderful. So hopefully we'll be able to introduce that person to you. I'd love to say in July, but I'll say by August and be hopelessly optimistic. The other position that we were approved to hire for is a research and communications position. And we've just begun that interview process. We had initially looked at 11 candidates because some people had, it's a long process. So because some people had taken other positions and some people have withdrawn, we are probably interviewing of those 11, 7 or 6. So probably, we got 156 resumes. So we will probably look a little deeper into our well of candidates. But we're really excited about the quality and caliber of the candidates, and hope that by the end of summer, we will have a more robust staff. It's been very challenging.
Can't imagine just you and Bradley doing all of this stuff. It's just unreal.
And yesterday we both had situations that kept us away from full participation that we really didn't have a choice about. So
do you anticipate going back to the office on a regular basis, or?
well, I was actually on my way into the office yesterday when that changed. So we're hopefully we're going to see what the scheduling turns out to, you know, how that pans out. You know, one of the things we found out, and those of you who are working at in a hybrid model or I'm sure also seen, is that it saves 2 hours a day by not commuting. That is then also spent at the desk. And I'm still finding plenty of ways to ride all of the systems and to get out during the days, not just during rush hour, but then also a rush hour and shoulder hour and during the middle of the day, and sort of ride a little different hours and different lines to see how the system is running, which provides a different spin on things a bit too. So I would say we're looking at hybrid, and we're gonna figure that out.
I forgot to add one thing on my report, so let me just quickly add it. Kawasaki has been really badly hit by the pandemic, and their manufacturing plant in Omaha and their assembly plant in Yonkers are way behind, but we should be getting the first test train of R211s. I'm saying by August. That's what they're saying now. It is, over a year late, but we should be getting them. We will let you know when they come and what line they're being tested on. Obviously, they're a replacement for the R46s and the R44s on the Staten Island Railway, which have conversational seating, which I love, and these will not. But obviously, the MDBF should be a lot better. And also, the test open gangway train of R211s will be coming by now. That's delayed. I think they're saying early 2022, but we will see on that. So everything is delayed. More M8s for the Long Island Railroad from Kawasaki are delayed. So it's an equal opportunity delay, but hopefully, I know Kawasaki makes a great product. I love their subway cars, so we can see what happens when they arrive. So sorry I missed that one.
So maybe we can take a tour. And maybe that could be our August.
Yeah, if they have some of them in Yonkers, we could go.
I see.
Or in one of our yards. Yeah.
That was my question. Are we going to have a trip in August this year, or as opposed to a board meeting?
That's something we can certainly.
It's a tradition, except for last August. So
Last August.
yeah.
We could do one of the tours.
think we
Take
could-
the train to one of the.
To the walkway over the Hudson, yeah. Poughkeepsie. We can move to new business if nobody has any questions.
I'm gonna also say, if you have any ideas for tours, please shoot them to me in an email. Thanks.
Yeah, I think
So
a
Andrew,
tour, it'll
I'm
be
also gonna
outdoors.
say-
I think it'll be great.
Yeah, and I'm also gonna say similarly, if you have ideas for speakers, please send them to Andrew and myself so we can work with government community relations to start lining them up.
So Andrew, new or old business, have
Sure.
there been any developments or any updates with the air conditioning and heating systems and
You mean the new technology that's being tried?
technologies? That's right, right.
Yeah, on Metro North and Long Island Railroad. I haven't heard anything yet, but I have heard that it has been going well. I don't know what that means on a scale of 1 to 10, but I'm going to ask because I think it's so important, and I think it will be a game changer once it's certified.
Okay, and if the Transit Authority hasn't started those conversations or participated in that initiative, then they need to get on the dime.
Yeah, agreed. So far it's just on commuter rail.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
No,
you.
I will inquire, Stuart. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Chris.
Yeah, I have new business because it's related to ACTA, and it was announced that we have 3 new members. One of them is actually used to be the former Long Island Railroad rep that is on the ACTA committee. And I forget his name, forgive me, but he was the Brooklyn rep also for Long Island Railroad. He's now on the ACT committee at this time. And I'm still on, so they're not taking me away because I have my second term. But ACTA is still continuing working on the accessibility of elevators. We just know that parts of stations on certain lines in the boroughs, they are going to be starting working on. But also we have, and I know Trudy mentioned earlier, the buses. They're also going to be doing some testing on some of the newer buses for accessibility for like walker areas or walkers or baby strollers. there's some of them are still running in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and I'm going to say Queens, and it will be starting Staten Island next month. Rachel just sent me the minor quick information. Lisa, you should be getting it in the next couple of hours, because she has to correct some wordings on it before she sends it to Andrew Albert. And that's just the message she just told me to say. Yeah, and Long Island Railroad is also going to be doing some updates on the Long Island Cares a little bit, because there's some minor issues on the when people are coming from, when you're at Spionk or out of the Montauk branch, and you need to remind the conductors. But once you get into Jamaica, if you have to switch to Atlantic branch or a Penn Station train, because some of those diesel trains do terminate more in Jamaica, they're working on the communication system on that, because there's been an error. So just letting anyone know, between that, they are working on that, as well as Metro North. There are
Good to
some
know.
things that are going to be adjusting also. But if we see something, say something. That's the main thing they're saying. So, and happy 4th of July, everyone. And thank you, everyone who did attend the award ceremony on Facebook.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
And congratulations, Chris.
Anybody have any other issues? I'll take a motion to adjourn if nobody has anything.
So
I don't
moved.
hear you, Lee.
So moved. Lisa, you're
I know.
okay.
Ron, you're sending me a message. Ron just sent me a message. We
Oh.
able to learn, but Ron, it's always, this is a good question to ask. Were you able to learn more about accessibility between the shuttle at Grand Central and the Grand Central Terminal main level itself? So this was a question that Ron had raised at an earlier meeting about when you're at the shuttle. So Ron, refresh.
Okay, you're
please.
coming off the shuttle. You've
Right.
come from Times Square. You get to Grand Central, and you're walking east, and you want to get into Grand Central Terminal itself. Perhaps take a Metro North train or head north or east. And all you have is either that very long passage towards Deluxe, or you have those crowded stairs up one level that then takes you to the terminal. There's no handicap access.
We just say access.
There's no elevator, no escalator.
Right.
And
I understood that was one of the benefits of One Vanderbilt project. They were going to make that whole area accessible.
If you're going
and
to
make
One
it easy to
Vanderbilt,
get into the terminal.
yeah, you can get to One Vanderbilt, but does it get you to Grand Central?
They were
Unless you have to
supposed to
go
be
way out of
making
your
it-
way.
Yeah, I
That's on
agree.
the west end. That's on the west side. But you can get, there is an elevator at going in right underneath Metro North at the end of the
If you go all the way down the other end of the passage, which of course is way out of your way, especially if you're handicapped or have mobility issues. And I now
Disabled.
have mobility issues.
It's accessibility, and I
Terminus
agree with
disabled.
Lisa.
Yeah, you're walking a full block or more out of your way to hope that there's a working escalator or elevator on Lexington Avenue end of things. There is, you can actually walk out the Lexington Avenue if the elevator works, take it up, going outside,
Right.
and then walk all the way back in. But you could waste 5 or 10 minutes doing that.
The
And-
new hotel that's going to be built, which is a few years away, is going to build a number of different accessibility improvements.
Right.
That is how those are going to be made, and that was part of the.
But on the
presentation.
west end where near Vanderbilt, but on the west end, there desperately needs to be something. And one would have thought it would have been part of making the shuttle handicap accessible. Yet I've seen nothing, heard nothing. We know we both tried to find something on the
Right.
project pages and we couldn't find anything.
So when I was in Times Square, I saw that the signs for the shuttle said that the Times Square shuttle, or that the shuttle is not accessible, use the 7 train. Then I thought, well, I thought that a lot of the shuttle project was designed around making it accessible.
They
So
are.
that surprised me. That I thought, oh gee, either these are old signs or that part of the work still has yet to be completed. So Andrew, I don't know if
It's ironic because the shuttle's at a much higher level positionally than the 7 train is. I mean, it should be so easy to get people up from there, one flight to the terminal. And I really thought this was happening as part of the One Vanderbilt project. So I'm going to inquire about when this is happening exactly.
Thank you. If you can figure out how it's done, we want to do a sanity check on what they've come up with. And if it's viable, if it's an easy way going through One Vanderbilt to get there, who cares? As long as it gets you there.
As long as it's accessible. Yep.
Yeah.
Part-
It doesn't
part of
take
the,
you like 2 blocks out of the way.
right, part of
Yep.
the work of the
Thanks.
new hotel, part of the design of the new hotel is, from what we saw in an earlier presentation was, I think they were looking at a people mover or some kind of accessible ramp that would, in an unused track area, that would allow the movement of people to go between One Vanderbilt and East Side Access and Grand Central in an easier fashion. But that's still all nothing finalized because that's the hotel design,
Right.
hotel mixed use design.
I'm going
But
to ask MTA Real Estate about the
Yeah.
timing of this improvement, when we can expect to see it. And if the now the direct access into One Vanderbilt is also giving access to Grand Central. But Shaul's hand is up.
Yeah, like
And with, oh, sorry.
yeah, the thing I like that I think Lisa is alluding to is the short loop connection, which would connect the Grand Central subway station to part of Grand Central Terminal. The thing is, based on various public diagrams, my concern is that it seems like this will likely block any future possible track connection between Grand Central and Penn Station. People like me and George H. Callis and others have long believed that there should be a rail connection between Grand Central and Penn Station. And of course, that like, any project like that would cost a lot and will be decades away. But any project like this should not preclude this. There should be safeguarding if possible. Andrew, if we could possibly ask people at the MTA if this would preclude such a connection, and if it
Yeah,
is,
we can ask that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And Andrew?
Yep.
I assume that with East Side Access, once it opens, that if, let's say I was going to 47th and Park, I will have handicap access all the way from East Side Access platforms all the way up to the street.
Yes, I cannot imagine that you would not. That's part of the plan. I've seen an overall graphic of it, and yes, absolutely, you'll have access to the street. Otherwise, this is an enormous investment and not serving everybody, which makes no sense.
Right. Accessibility is a cornerstone of East Side Access.
Yes,
Christopher,
Let's hope that the escalators actually work.
especially with how deep the LIRR station is there. Whoa.
Just to give you guys a little information thing, because I have seen there's been complaints about the lack of accessibility signage. Because I know this been for the months in past. I know Trudy can vouch with me. There's been complaints when Edith was here. There was complaints. I just emailed Rach to let her know because accessibility signages are the problem. But at this time, for accessibility for the shuttle, no one should be using the shuttle at this time because they still not finished their construction. They're still telling people to please use the 7 train or get a special block transfer to the M42 bus. That is still in effect. If the 7 goes out, the next choice is the M42 bus. At this moment in time, since they're working on the roof stuff, I know they have been moving signages, but at the same time, we need to remind them, Andrew, as you can back me up on this too, is they need to keep the accessibility signages for the accessibility customers if they're coming off the 4, 5, and 6 and the 7 train. And right now, they do need to remind them that the shuttle one is still not ADA accessible because wheelchairs, walkers, well, it depends. Walkers can, if they have the upper strength, that's different. But I'm still going to say It's not for accessibilities at this time. For
Yeah,
safety.
and the accessibility map shows clearly that it's the 7 you need to use and not the shuttle, but
Agreed.
but a
Agreed.
visitor may not know that. You're right.
Yes, and the one thing is when, and you agree, visitors and tourists do not know that. But as I say this
Right.
before, for safety concern, as an ACT member, do not use the 42nd Street shuttle. Must use the 7th train, and also try to get it used to other train lines that are nearby as well.
But keep in
And that's
mind,
also-
there's a lot of
and-
work going on the shuttle, particularly at the Times Square end, and they're actually going to have access to the 6th Avenue line from the Times Square station.
Yes, and just remind everyone, to back up Lisa, it's accessibility zone that they're working on, and I know that's going to be done. And Lisa, to add that, they might add additional more. So we're hearing a lot of good news coming in, but the Mayor's Office of Disability we can also ask Victor Calisi if he has any updates on that too, because he's been working on that as well
Yeah,
as Carmela as well. Thank you. And
Thank
just let
you.
everyone know, we don't use the word handicap. Thank God Edith's not here. Please use accessibility word, because we don't wear
Yes.
cap. We're not a cap. We're a person with a disability. Or it doesn't
Victor
matter.
Police
That's-
made that quite clear yesterday's board meeting. So yes,
Yes, I know. And I know Victor, I'm surprised he didn't blow up, because I know Edith, she will explode.
he said that to Jerry, our new MTA board member, and I told Jerry he didn't mean anything personal by it.
No. I emailed Jerry and I said, Jerry, I just love what you said it. That's why they're going to call you rookie now at the board now. Remember that one, Andrew?
Yeah, I remember.
There's there's not really been any sensitivity training. There's been a change in terminology. And so that needs to happen. I'm
That's
sorry,
true.
Mr. Carr, I don't know what that means, but I didn't think that was inappropriate.
No, it's just that I just made a mistake when I forgot to mention that. And I'm like,
Okay,
that's beating my face off for a reason.
okay.
And no, because I agree what you're saying. They need that training, especially on the bus drivers and the subways. And I agree. And I just realized myself, that's what it means I'm putting myself as an idiot.
Oh.
And I'm saying that. I said it for the record.
You're not
I
an
made a
idiot.
mistake. I know, but I'm doing it today. I just want to say it. It's for me. I know
Yeah.
I'm not, but today I have to say I do make mistakes. I'm not perfect.
Hey,
All right. I think we had a motion to adjourn a little while ago.
I second it.
Have a great July 4th, everybody, and we will keep you posted on speakers and possible trip in August. And we
Send
look
your
forward.
emails.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good 4th of July.
You
Happy
too.
holiday.
Bye.
And Lisa, that was a nice op-ed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Howie.
You're welcome, Lisa.
Okay,
Take care.
bye-bye.